Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about helping your kids become more organized in their lives. And in fact, this video has been requested by a friend who is the mother of a teenage daughter. And I think this is something relevant to all households, whether you have young children or teenagers. And in fact, all of us could do with being more organized in our lives. So one of the first things that I'm going to give you some very simple tips. Some of these I've followed in my own life, and some of course I've read up and I try to do, but I'm not always able to. And one of the first of these things is to encourage your child to start making to-do lists. Now this is something I swear by because I've always relied very heavily on lists. What it also does is that it frees up your mind from more clutter and from the burden of having to remember all these things in your head. And I've always carried a small little notepad in my bag and made a list, and it gives me a lot of sense of purpose that okay, this is what I need to do. It's all right there in front of me. Sometimes I plan my route also based on the chores because I have the list in front of me. I'm not just randomly remembering them. And then at the end of the day, you know how much you've achieved, what you've been able to do, and what is left to do. So it really does help to make your day more structured and easier for you to get those tasks out of the way. And it'll be the same for your kids, whether it's homework or other things that they have on their list. And today it's so easy to do a to-do list. You don't even need paper. They can make it on their phones, on their laptops, or if they like, they can do a physical list. Some kids are very arty and creative. They can, decorate their list and put it up on their desk. Now, the second thing that I think is, and I'm not very good at this actually personally, but I see that if you just take a 10-minute prep the night before, just to check if your school bag is okay, do you need the scientific calculator tomorrow? Maybe you have art, you need special art supplies. Is your uniform okay? Is it ironed? Just taking that 8 to 10 minutes of preparation the night before makes your morning and next day so much easier. Just really makes it flow. So if your child can make this a part of their personality, inculcate this as part of their habit, then you will see that they will carry this on through their life into the workplace also. When they are getting ready for work the next day, they just take those 10 minutes to do that little bit of work at night. Then the next day will be a breeze, and whether it's a presentation, clothes, whatever little preparation is needed, it hardly takes any time. The third thing is, and I know this is very difficult because teenagers really resist this nowadays, is to really kind of stress to your teenager about the importance of sleep and how your child really should get a full night and a good night's sleep, especially if there's something important the next day. Because then you wake up on time and you kind of get out of bed with a spring in your step. You're not feeling lazy, and you're not then just going through the motions and getting late, not having breakfast. Everything then kind of gets very rushed up, and your day is very frazzled. So it's much nicer if you just have that little bit of time, and if you've slept well, believe me, that morning really will go far more smoothly. You're not running for the bus. You're not sort of running from one thing to another. The fourth thing that I feel would really be helpful is to encourage children to just keep their immediate surroundings, which is their workspace, their desk, their cupboard, their room maybe, to keep that neat and in order. If you follow Mary Kondo, or you've been listening to or watching any of the videos that she talks about, or her philosophy, it basically talks a lot about how decluttering is so important, not just physically but also mentally. And she really talks about keeping only things around you that spark joy, and anything else that you don't need, get rid of. But at least just taking the organizing and the neatness part from that, just ask your kids to apply this in their life. They will find it so much easier on a day-to-day basis to find their things and to help them work in a more efficient way. Now, of course, kids don't always like it, so there are things that you can do to make it easier. Start by telling them to do things that they love. So my older child, for example, loves to read, loves stationery, loves her board games. So her bookshelf is always very neat. She will insist that she wraps up the board game after game. She doesn't let anyone else do it because she likes to put everything back in a certain way. And the same goes for her stationery. But she's not very good with her cupboard. Her cupboard is a complete mess. So you have to ask that child to apply those same things into this aspect as well. My younger child, on the other hand, loves accessories and clothes. So that part of her life is organized and the desk is a mess. So, start with getting them to do things they love and then extend it to other spheres of their life. Sometimes what you can do, and I've done this sometimes, is to also make it fun, by incentivizing it. So sometimes I'll tell them on a Monday or a Tuesday that this weekend I'm going to do a surprise check on your cupboards. And if I find it messy, I'm going to cut money from your pocket. I'm going to cut something from your pocket money. And also, if it's really neat, maybe I'll give you something, a treat. So incentivize it for them. And for younger kids, what you can do is make it fun like a game. I'm sure a lot of you have maybe done this at some point. Tell them, I'm going to give you 5 minutes, even if there's a friend over and they've got a play date happening and they've finished with a certain game. Say, I'm going to put on a timer, and in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I want the room done, and put on the timer. So it becomes like a fun game, and they're trying to beat the timer and do it, in that. And the last point I'd like to say, and this is something my father always did and said and insisted we do. And when we were younger, we used to find it very irritating. But now I realize how much value there is in it. It's just a simple, small thing, and I do it myself, which is that everything in your house has a certain place, right? Whatever you pick up from somewhere, put it back in the same place, put it back in the right place. That way you won't have to go crazy looking for it. So if the scissors lie in a certain plate, or if your stationery lies in a certain place, just learn to put it back in the same place. And that really helps you save time, saves you a lot of mental anguish. And just being a more neater, organized person will really, really make your mind freer to concentrate on more fun, creative things than have to worry about these little logistical issues. So I hope you all found this useful. Please do write in and tell me what you thought, and if you've been able to apply this, and if your kids have benefited from it. Bye.